Hello Visiting Internets, and welcome to this video where I'm back on the key engine version of automation because I've got a suggestion from Mackenzie Goodwidge to ensure the career mode. Again, I go on sandbox, I just do that. Anyway, I apparently have loads of companies. I don't know, I'll make a new one. I don't really need to watch any tutorials, so this is all fine. And I can hopefully just make a new car. I believe that's all I have to do. Show cancelled. I've not cancelled anything yet. Now, the resolution of this stand thingy does look very, very low on my 1080p display. I have set the game to 1080p, and I did raise concern about it before to myself, but then I went and checked everything, and it's set to 1080p before I load the game up, so that's no problem. I have also set the figures to UK numbers, and that's hopefully going to make things a bit easier. It is 1946 on the game, and I think what we need for this period of time is we need a cheaper body. So if we look at the smaller vehicles, we have...
Choosing a base body design.
Yeah, I don't really need to use the tutorials at this point. We can build a minibus. That's not so much a minibus, that's more short wheelbase, but still a fairly large vehicle. This is a minibus, but a high centre of gravity is going to make it pretty uncomfortable as a family vehicle, so we don't want that. This is more of a Porsche, so, you know, probably too much bodywork styling for the average everyday car to like, precise work needing to be done on it. This could work as a economy car, but again, it's got a fairly high centre of gravity, I would say. There's just not much choice available, really. Do we have sedan bodies? These are two that are typical for the era, I would say. I would probably want something a bit cheaper looking to truly get the point across that we're making something rugged and fit for purpose above all else, but it'll do the trick. We can have various versions of it, actually. It seems like the old Holden or the Morris Minor. In many ways, it seems like those cars. I want to bring the weight back just a little, going full old BMW on it, and that should help us kind of maintain a good handling car without the technology to maintain a good handling car. And I've got a 4-door, even though there's a 2-door available. I can't be bothered changing it now. It's done. Or can I be bothered changing it? Yes, I can. We have to save money. Oh well. I know what I did with the body. Come on. There we go. Bring that back just a little. It's got quite a long bonnet. for a smaller car, at least, it's quite long. And bring that to the right point. There we go. There is our 2-door economy car thus far.
The chassis is underpinning.
I don't really need to watch the video again. We don't have a unitary, oddly. I'm pretty sure the Morris Minor had a unitary construction, and that was from the 1930s, so not a modern car by any means. Now, material? We can go with standard steel. We don't want any fancy materials. We want to keep this thing cheap and functional.
Longitudinal is the most
Yeah, I can go and never play tutorials. I should probably have done that before, to be honest. But we have front longitudinal. It's pretty standard for this stage. Although if I were to make it a rear-engined car, I would have to go with more advanced rear suspension. So it's a compromise either way. I either have to spend more on more complex suspension, and probably a more complex driveline, or I have to put the money into buying a drive shaft and a differential. To be honest, I think front longitudinal is probably the best at this stage. Maybe in about 10 years' time, it would be a lot more economical to put a rear-engined layout in a car, but at this stage in time, I think front-engined rear drive is still the best, personally. We could have solid axle leaf, and again, it's a cheap functional car, so I feel as uncomfortable and unrefined as it may be, and solid axle coil may, with its actual springs, be the better, more advanced suspension. I'm going with leaf springs because of the simplicity. Panel is going to be steel. We're not building a high-end sports car here, naturally. And we can have all these lights. I actually forgot how many fixtures there were in this version of the game. Can't restrict it to year, but I immediately get the feeling these will work. It's not going to be the prettiest car in the world, but you know, it'll do the job. I'm thinking maybe I should tone down the chrome, but then people liked the chrome a lot back then, so to get rid of the chrome, it's just not going to go down so well with our potential customers. That won't work, we need to move that in. No, it's just the body's too curved, the lights are too square. We need maybe some standard chrome surrounded circular lights would work. There we go. No? I don't know. It doesn't seem to take kindly to the body. I'm noticing that. Try moving these inwards just a little, and that should give us our lights. This is not going to be a pretty car by any means. However, it should be pretty enough to sell in what is an economy car at its heart. In what is a car that's not designed just for brute or speed or acceleration or anything of the kind. Oh, I can't seem to flip this over. That's very sad. What other grills do we have that may work? Again, we have this Vauxhall grill, I think. I think it's from a 1970s car, however, it should function. I just feel so far out of my comfort zone here. No, we've got no technology to play with at all. It's just such a Spartan vehicle. But hey, it kind of holds together as a design. It's not too repulsive, I feel. You know, I would actually drive this if I had no choice. Which is the case many people were in back then. They just didn't have a choice of another car because they had to choose from a few very cheap ones, and the Morris Minor was probably the most practical of them, so that's what it came down to. We can have a badge. Oh yes, we've got some nice badges here actually. I think this will be our badge. I believe it's a mod, but it just suits this car so well. Ah, we don't want it up there. There we go. Can maybe fix slightly further down. Like so. And we can fix one to the boot. Well, why do they always come out so big on this version of the game? Whoop. And there we go. There was the story how the most beautiful car in the world was born. No, we need a pair of handles. There we go. These ones should do the job. Trying to decide on the difference between should and ought to. There we go. Add one for the boot. I don't believe these snap in the middle though now. No. Okay, we won't add one for the boot then. Just add a random handle to nothingness. We can have a set of tail lights. Hopefully period correct tail lights. I think if we have some brakes with, if we can have some brakes with indicators on, like these ones. No, the curvature of the body does not like this at all. They'll have to go there. There's nothing else I can really do. I can't put them anywhere other than that because where else do tail lights go? And then for reverse lights, I could just have a pair plopped down here. right next to them. Like so. There we go. Very neat. Maybe not the perfect car, but it does the job. It gets the job done. And that's really what this is about. We can go with a longitudinal rear-wheel drive. It's not going to be four-wheel drive, that's for sure. Not when this is designed for basic applications. I'll go with a 3-cylinder. Although a 4-cylinder would be conventional, I'm trying to keep prices down as much as possible. We'll go with 850 cc's. It sounds tiny by today's standards, but back then it wasn't actually that obscure. We'll go with a pushrod engine. I might go with overhead valve. Or is it overhead cam? Overhead cam, that's it. I might go with that, but for the time being, I'll have to make do with pushrod and hope I can get above about 10 horsepower. You know, I should be able to with the right tuning. With right tuning, anything becomes possible. It'll be naturally aspirated because turbos haven't been invented yet. We'll go with a single carburetor and regular leaded fuel. Do we want any fancy exhausts? Probably short cast is probably where I'll spend more money and more development cost. Because in my experience it's made quite a difference. We have that, but that's a modern exhaust and an old engine. Ooh, I just thought though, on this version of the game you could change the engine head cover colour somewhere. I don't know where, but I'm pretty sure you could do that. Unless for whatever reason they've removed the ability in the 1940s, which would be sad. Try and make it a bit smaller. And how much power are we making? Do we get the power figure? Oh, I've not finished the engine yet. Silly me. We need a muffler. Or do we need a muffler? Yeah, let's have a muffler. Spend the money there. Well, it was good while it lasted. Well, I spent the money where I think it lasts. Where I think it matters. Having a bit of muffler to make it a bit quieter and a bit more refined. And having... Ooh. If I get 30 horsepower, I will be very, very happy with this. But anyway, that is thus far what I've got with the engine. I don't know how far I can push it. Does it say valve flow? Valve flow is the worst it's got, okay? I don't think that's a major problem. Oh no, it's worse than valve flow. I want to get this engine to a working stage, then I think I can call it my own. 4800. Alright, so that's valve float. Does this... Ah, I can see when it goes orange. That's kind of yellow. The valves are red though. And I don't really want red valves. 4200 RPM limit. Okay, it doesn't rev at all, but we do make some power. Similar to most of the diesels people drive today, actually. It revs to practically nothing, but it makes enough power to function. And I will do some final tweakery and tunery on this to try and get maybe 40 horsepower or whatever, but for the time being, 30 does the job. We'll go with a manual single clutch transmission of a 2-speed or a 3-speed? 2-speed! Save money! I don't know. Surely there was automatics at this stage. I don't know, either way, you can get a 2-speed transmission to work, and it's not like we're going to be going very fast, so I think I'll get away with it. A open differential. Now the tyres, 85mm even for the day was too narrow. The 2CV is the narrowest I know, and that had 125s. So, make those smaller still. 135 should do the job. As I say, we're not going to be dealing with much power through this. Just try and... No, I can't do anything about that. 125 millimeters, though. Wait a minute. Oh. I get confused. I go the other way. We'll go with hard, long life tyres. Perhaps. Is that... I don't know. I don't want the tyres to be too big and too cushy, though. 12 inches is probably about as small as I could realistically go. Nope. That's probably as small as I can realistically go for tyres. For wheels, sorry, I made the tyres a little smaller around that to hopefully make it work a bit better. And as you'll see though, the engine is still fairly filling in the engine bay, despite being absolutely tiny. I don't think we can take the bonnet off in this version of the game. Although we do have various wheels, most of them will not work on a car like this, but I can try anyway. Just see what I get out of them. Nope. It's not really liking them visually. I think they work well enough. Steel wheels, by the way. We won't be going with anything fancy at the moment. Now, we could bring them out a bit. And I think we will. Because it will assist handling. At least on the front. I don't see them being brought out much on the rear. Because there just isn't space to do such. We'll go with, well, the brakes that are available all around. Just try and see how that works. Do we want standard 200mm and 160? Probably. I mean, at this stage, I'm trying to keep prices down and I'm just going with whatever standard. So, we'll go with no under tray. We'll go with no wing angle because it's not necessary. How much cooling do we need? Cooling does work as well, I believe, on this version of the game. 35.8, so we can drastically reduce that. Brake airflow, there probably wouldn't be anything, to be honest, not at this time in such a basic car. But like brake cooling channels and whatever else is used just wouldn't have existed at all. We'll have 5 seats, we'll have a basic interior, no entertainment, because that's how things were back then. No driver assists. And we'll go with no safety, maybe? No, standard 40s. There would have been some kind of safety, I trust. And at that cost, I think it's worth the extra. That weight, I think it's worth the extra. We'll go with standard springs and, well, basically the suspension type that's available. And it comes up well. City Budget and City Eco are both categories it's doing quite well at. Set up for comfort as well. It'll probably raise the ride height stupidly. No, it doesn't actually seem to affect it. Not at least visually. It does affect it, just not visually. So, we're on comfort suspension now. For what this is, 642 kilograms, about 30 horsepower. I think we've got a winner on our hands. It's not too far off specificationally off the original Mini. The original Mini may have had a clock or something as an extra, and this has, well, nothing. But then this is 1942. It's about however many, 17 years earlier than the Mini came out. So you can expect it to be more primitive. And then we can improve on this platform as time goes on. We've got various bits and bobs to tend to. What is the pricing difference, though, I wonder, between not double wishbone, between solid axle leaf and solid axle coil? Because now, coming to what it's coming to, I think, as I say, it's a very strong platform. Just, if we're able to fit coil suspension, it may be that much better. So what does it come down to comfort? Comfort is low there, but it's very low there. Comfort is average and comfort is high on these two, but they're like higher end cars, and I don't think most European cars would have used them. So I say that though. On the front, probably. Possibly. On the rear, nope. You can get, I think, leaf suspension on the front in real life, but not in this game apparently, or this version of the game. So we have. There's the menu. My mind just crashed, basically. Sorry about that. Load capacity extremely high with leaf strings. Very high with solid axle coil. Not that that would be too much of an issue because it's a standard car. We're not trying to build a van here. Engineering time is low for solid axle coil, but very low for leaf. That's extra engineering time. Weight is high for both of them. Production units is low, but it's very low for leaf, so I'm guessing production units is high for double wishbone anyway, so I think it's worth a compromise personally. But, you know, again, it's how it works out eventually with the bean counters and all that. Yeah, 639 kilos, still a very, very light car. We have got somehow the body off, though, which is neat, because we can see the engine. And can it go any quicker? Ooh, might be hitting 80 if we get the engine tuned up a bit. So what I'm... Wait a minute. Am I seeing this correctly? City budget has gone down. If I tune the suspension, I'm hoping to regain that. Come on. Hope to regain what I have lost. No. City budget preferred leaf springs. Okay. Solid axle leaf. There you go. Why did the customers get angry at me? I was trying to make their life easier. And then they get angry at me for making their life easier. And then if I go on comfort now, 90.4. So they prefer leaf springs. A very interesting market feature, I guess you could say. If we go with 3 gears as well, we've got 90.4 to beat there. 90.2. So they just don't like having more gears. Maybe a 4-speed would help. Nope. There we go. They seem to like making it cheaper. I wonder then. I wonder if removing the muffler helps as well. I wonder if that does. I think it's because they're seeing it for the statistics. No. They like the muffler. So this is actually working out very interesting. So if I put another muffler on, will it somehow become more competitive? It's the strangest thing, because leaf springs reduce refinement and they also reduce the score. Yet mufflers increase refinement and they also increase the score. So I don't know. Leaf springs increase the score by being worse. Mufflers increase the score by being better. It confuses me. And it's a vehicle. What can I say? Other than fine tuning, I think it's about done. We can have cast log. Yeah, not much power difference there, so I'll have to have a look at changing that. Cast log. What are they saying now? In terms of market, 90.7. I think they prefer cast log, if only because it's cheaper and it's a part they will probably have to replace, otherwise never seeing it at all. No. Better manifold is a better manifold. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to... Oh, wait a minute. That chops off power quite drastically. However, as I've seen with the odd market patterns, the eco carburetor may actually help the case, and indeed it does. So yeah, I'm going to tune the parts I've got. I'm going to try and get them as best tuned as I can, and then I will return. Okay, so I've created the car the markets wanted, basically. We'll see the car is apparently knocking. Oh dear. I say that. I have to adjust this thing immediately now. It's a problem. Although it was perfectly fine before I left, honestly. I think I'm just losing a horsepower. Am I? Can I gain that horsepower back? Please? No. Oh well. Well, less than a horsepower. 0.1 of a horsepower. I don't think it'll make that much difference. Anyway, you'll see here we have a fairly smooth, fairly reliable engine. Not too much to say about it, really. It's basically as it was left, only tuned. 93.5 kilograms. Not too heavy either for a full cast iron unit. And I'm on the wrong testing mode. Oh dear. I went on the auto testing to show you the power curve. Come on. So, as I say, it's basically the car the market wants. And as you'll see, the gear ratios are ridiculous. I don't know why it's done that. I don't think it's even improved economy, but the market wanted it. And it improved the point system massively, along with one other thing, which was the brakes. If I keep going here, nothing's changed on the wheels themselves. The tyres and all that are the same because that's what the market's wanted. But the brakes themselves, for whatever reason, it uses 100% race brakes and 220mm discs, race pads that is, and 220mm discs. I don't know why that is. I say discs, it's technically drum brakes, but they're still brake discs, and just a different kind of brake disc. And the rear uses 215mm, almost as big, but standard brake pad type. I couldn't see much change with that. I could turn it to 100 like I did, and it didn't really affect it, not in a positive way at least, that's for sure. Although I did notice making it slightly higher after I'd racified the front brakes did help. And that's it, all I've got really. I don't know why they value braking performance so much, because I did actually take all the safety off. Again, that helped, as did increasing the cooling airflow massively. So people apparently want something slow, yet with huge braking performance. Maybe it's just because the tyres aren't very good, and it needs to be geared like that and everything to actually grip at all. 5 seats, naturally. You can try taking seats off, but it doesn't do any positive stuff for the class. Not at least the class I'm trying to compete in. Safety, the same thing. You can add it on, but in this class, no one really cares. Oddly, comfort suspension is a bit lower than normal, so I just settled for normal. I wonder what off-road is. I've not checked off-road. No, off-road isn't the best for it, but normal seems to be good. Maybe it's because people can load slightly more in the back without it feeling completely like a van to drive. Maybe it just helps it corner a little better. I don't know. Not that cornering would be much of a concern when you've only got a 2-speed transmission. It's not a sports car. I mean, that's been clear from the start. We have all of this stuff to talk about. Double wishbone front, solid axle leaf rear. It's just not much, though, that you wouldn't expect for a car of this era. And anyway, we have 55% front weight distribution, actually. I didn't notice this before. I didn't even look at it, to be honest. But that is not bad. And I do need to take it around the test track, which I haven't done yet. So I'll skip through this bit, and then I'll join you when I've done it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that, because now we have a time, and it is going to take some time for my mind to figure this out. That is 4 minutes 9.13, I think, if I can recall that correctly, which is just about terrible. Compare it to my leaderboard and it's terribly slow, but then it would be. It's not designed in the slightest for speed. As I say that, it comes up on fun. I mean, really. For pricing, is that... Well, it looks like pricing. Yeah, it's actually quite competitive. 79.9% competitive for pricing. Same with commuter. Commuter budget is not quite competitive for pricing, but you know... Cars are expensive. What can you do about it? I think now we can move on to the other bits. Now I've built the car itself. Yeah, that's what I'm going to name it. It's called the car. And the engine is just the inline 3. Just literal. In a literal sense. Now we need to hire a team lead. Let's choose a staff member. Oh, I don't know. I'm sure there used to be a thing here where you could actually choose from a group of different people, but apparently they're not here today. They've all gone on holiday. Oh dear. Right, we need a factory. We'll build a small factory in Gazmi. Should be quite easy to begin with. And we need to select a valid factory for a plot. Okay. Engines. Is that all? I don't know. A valid factory for a plot. I think I bought 2 factories. Ah, no, it's okay. I've had to buy 2 factories anyway to fit the engine and the car on. I really don't know what I'm doing here. But anyway, I have an engine factory now, and I have a car factory. So they should be a good starting point. We shouldn't need any add-ons yet, because as far as I know, well, we'd need steel presses for a steel body, but as far as I know, we're not doing anything fancy to the car. We'll have a small factory, size class of your factory. I'm guessing you can add that to a small factory to extend it, but I'm not sure. We'll have to go with 1 and move on. Can we move on? Add-ons? No. Move on from here. Number of shifts running this factory. When going to more than 2 shifts, staff go up a lot. We won't bother with more than 2 shifts then. The number of shifts running this factory. Can we go to 2? Match to car. 2.8 is matched to the car, so I guess we'll have to put up with the extra cost. Sales, pony. I don't know. Ah, all the lists. City Eco I think it's the best for. I think that is the overall competitiveness. How competitive the car is, higher is better. So it's 100. I don't know if that's percent or not, but it's 100 competitiveness. Trim 1, as it's called. Base markup. We'll charge demand to production. So there's demand for 10 every 50 produced. Demand for 9 every 64 produced. $11 every 39 produced. That seems pretty good odds. But I don't know. Seems like we're producing more than we can sell. Oh wow. Let's go. Well, I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Yeah, we can skip that. Stock, we have 4. Can we play? Total profit, nothing really. Profit is minus something or other. I'm confused. Again, this is just where I get so confused with the business side of it. I don't know what I'm doing. Ooh, it's showing a positive number there for a change. So that's something. As the days are going on, I'm noticing that much. We have a piggy bank. 1,420 is showing. What is that billion? 1.42 billion. Okay. $245 profit, is that, or is it 1,000? I think. Yeah, I think it's 1,000. Trim 1. maybe I could make a higher trim. I wonder if that would help sell. So we pause time as it is. We'll revise the car. Go back a moment. Because it seems like having a different trim could work quite well in our favour. If it allows us to do that. No, I can't seem to create a new trim at this stage. Which is quite upsetting, really. What if I wanted to make a sport version? That would be the car everyone would want to see. It might still have a 2-speed, but, you know, we deal with what we deal with at my factory. And we're making $1 million total profit, is that saying? I'm just befuddled by the whole thing. Total cars sold 5,536, so we are selling a few cars, at least. Production. Research and design. Sales, awareness, market economy. We have muscle premium apparently peaking up there. Okay. And this time frozen? No, it's not. It will soon be a new year. I do remember I once had a car and it was not going well for a while, but then suddenly everyone started buying them. Basically, not many people are buying near the end of the year. So, in the first year of production, it says we've sold 7,381 cars. We've gained a reputation, but we've lost prestige. That's quite interesting. So people are enjoying the cars. They're not particularly against them, should we say. And our value, we've definitely made money, but the costs are more than the money we've made by the looks of it. Okay, we've made a loss. I think I'm getting this now. I'm thinking if I go to the car, trim 1, pause that for a moment, revise car, and perhaps I might be in the complete wrong menu for it, but perhaps I need to put the price up of the car. If I can do that. Again, I'm lost for what to do. Oh, there it is. It's right there. So this might not help our odds of selling. Ooh, I wonder if that's our reputation helping us there, because we see demand for production is actually very, very close there. However, there it isn't. But we need to put the markup a bit higher because we're not making any profit. Oddly, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be as much production at that. They're the same production, but there seems to be more demand or less demand there. I don't know. I'm getting confused by that entire system, but I think I vaguely understand it, at least enough to... I think I at least understand the economics of it enough now to get the hang of it. So if we can skip through maybe to 1950, then we can see if we can make a profit there, because I have put the cost up and I have gained reputation. So, you know, the people who are buying my cars on that first cheap year kind of enjoyed them. And then, yeah, we're actually able to sell more, even at a higher price. So we've gained some more reputation, lost some more prestige, because remember, they are economy cars. They're not special cars in any way. Costs, there we go. I think I fixed the situation just about. There's still taxes and everything, but we have overall made a profit. And I can say that's a good thing. I can say it's a good thing that we've made a profit. So I think for another year, I'll leave it, and then we can put the price up a bit more, and then we should have a very solid business case on our hands. Again, the car is going to get old by this stage, and we will need to replace it with another car come, what, 1956, say? That'll give it a good 10-year production run. And, again, another year's gone by. The 5th year of its production, by the looks of things. And now the Austin Mini will have launched and everyone will want a front-wheel drive. No, it won't. That was 1959, not 1949. I'm getting my years confused. So, again, we'll see here. We're again making a profit. Okay, so pause time and go back into the car, revise car, and we can hopefully increase the base markup. Demand is 8 to production. I'm slightly confused here. So we can only make 8 now? Is that what it's saying? Or is it just less demand? I think that's what it's saying. 0 production is that? I'm confuzzled. I'm sticking with 7% anyway. It'll probably end my company, but I'll have to take chances here and there. And again, time is flying. It's the 4th month of the year already, apparently. And I'll try and pause it just before the end of the year this time, so, you know, it doesn't jump into the year and off the year has already gone at the wrong market value. I really need to stop putting the value up, but, you know, as I say, we've got a decent business case on our hands, and I completely missed the point. 11,000 sold, again. It doesn't sound like a lot of cars, but remember the business is very young. We've not gained so much reputation this time, but it is still at a higher cost. So, indeed, yes. Although the costs appear to have gone up, I'm noticing that. We're still turning a profit. But the costs seem to have gone up. So that's something to bear in mind. I mean, times change, profits change, taxes change. Things will go up and down and left and right, and ultimately the business just has to survive. Again, we're going through 1952, same value. And I think I'll keep it this way until I start developing a replacement of sorts in 1955. And 11,000 cars. We're selling consistently. Reputation isn't gaining so much now, though. So we will need to replace this car as quickly as I think possible, because I think they're beginning to get the reputation as being old cars now as well, even though they're still on sale. And profit or loss, look, still, we're making 3.5 million even profit. So it is economical to keep this in production, but whether it's good for the future of the company, whether people have a right association with the cars, is what I'm getting now as the initial issue. 1955, as I say, is when I'll start redeveloping the car. I'm happy at this market value for the time being. Selling at this price, it'll keep the company afloat quite neatly. And 11,000 sold, reputation gaining, but not so much. Prestige, we do not have much prestige. I think we need a sports car next. Or we need at least a sportier car. So that is what I think I'll be going for. Something with more sportiness to it. That's still kind of an economy car, and will hopefully give people a more fun idea of my company. It's just coming up to the end of 1954 now, so I'm getting ready to develop the next car, shall we say. Is it? Oh no, it's okay. I just confused the months a bit. There we go. That sorted it. And, yeah. Before our reputation starts going really badly wrong, I need to replace this car. That's the point I'm making. So, pause time. 1955, that car would have been in production for 9 years now. Sounds like a lot, but older cars did live longer lives than modern ones a lot of the time. So, that's something. Even the Volkswagen Golf, though, I think it was the Mark 5 and Mark 6 Golf. They were actually very similar cars. And look, we immediately have 50s designs to work with, which is very nice. I'm thinking what we could build is something based on this, which is kind of an affordable sports car. This is a Cadillac, and that's massive. It's just this, I fear it might still be a little too big, ideally for Europe. We have this one, which is, I don't believe, a body we had before, but it's beginning to look a little dated, so I don't know. There's this one, which I had back then. I thought it was too curvy though, and then I went to do something equally curvy. We have a pink mobile. We have this one, which is actually a body of this year. Seems a little too modern though, so I won't be using that. It seems like a 60s car more than anything, so I won't be whooshing that into production. I think I saw a convertible. Yeah, indeed. These are the kind of cars we need. Can get them without bumpers, but it just doesn't look right to me. This is what I'm going to build now. We do have the inline 3, remember, and we also have a unitary. We have a unitary construction available to us. So, I don't know. I honestly don't know what we're going to do though, because this can't be mass produced as a car. So I've lost my chain of thought. Anyway, although this is a interesting idea, I think we'll need to build a everyday car that can be used. And if we can get this with 4 seats, I think this could kind of be a daring new idea, should I say, of how to build an economy car. It probably won't catch on, but you know, it's a new sporty way of doing things, so it should catch on in my head. This is the hardtop. I think we should be able to go with 4 seats. I mean, it looks like it's designed to have 4 seats or be a 2+2 at least. We're not going to be using a space frame. It'll be a steel bodied vehicle with a rear longitudinal engine, maybe. Front longitudinal, no. We use front longitudinal, that's our kind of company. We'll have cheaper front McPherson strut suspension actually than we had on our old vehicle, but with good reason, because we're going to spend the money on solid axle coil on the rear. This may be again looking a bit dated by the 60s, but for the time being, I think we'll get away with it, and I think we need to just most crucially get the car going, get the car on the run, and that is not as I would have expected it to be. I would have expected some chrome around my lights. They're modern lights in a retro style, so we won't want them. Sportiness, yes. This car's problems must all be forgiven because it's sporty. There we go. Indeed. And grills? What grills do we have? Many, many grills. So, could use this one maybe? One I wanted to use back then, but I couldn't really because it just didn't seem right. I don't know what to make of it though. On this car, does it work? Kind of. And we can go with some indicators. Go with some chromed ones. Everything has to be chrome on this. We're entering luxury times. So, plonk that there. And on the back, what tail lights do we have? I'm thinking if I can rotate these, I might have an ideology of how to mount them. Like so. Do. Right, I think that's close enough. Close enough to what I was trying to achieve. And indeed, this is our economy car. Yay! We need a badge. I think this is probably the best compromise I've come up with. It's kind of a sports car, but it's kind of an economy car. And believe me, I'm going to do something with that inline 3. So, plonk that there, like so, on the bonnet. I think we actually have sunroofs here, don't we? Oh, yes, we do. Can kind of have a vintage style sunroof on this car even, then. Because, why not, you know? I mean, who wouldn't want one of these, though? In the 1950s, it's basically the Capri before the Capri came along. And will it be rear-wheel drive? Nope. Yes, no, yes, no, I don't know. We could go with longitudinal front-wheel drive. Would make it easier to control, but I think we have to be rear-wheel drive for tradition. And people like rear-wheel drive by this stage in time. So, engine. No, we want to just drop the engine in here. No, isn't it going to come up? It's very odd. It just doesn't want to show up. Obscure. So, what engines do we have? Might have to build a new one though, but I was sure that there. No? Okay, so I can't seem to use the old engine because it gets upset when I do try and use it. So, new family it is. We'll make a inline 4. Classy. Maybe. Or maybe not. I don't know. It's an economy car still though, so you know, I think we should still stick by the inline 3. However, we can make it larger. We can make our engine 1000 cc's to cater to a car that looks far more menacing than it actually is. We won't be using aluminium on the engine yet. I think it's still too early for that, especially on a basic car. We'll go with a tune later. Naturally aspirated. Carburetor. Eco carburetor, maybe. Or maybe we'll go with standard. No, but eco's going to make it a lot more appealing, isn't it? So, regular leaded fuel again. And we'll go with short cast exhaust. There's a carburetor. We'll go with a pair of baffle mufflers, potentially change them later. And the engine's a mess, but I'll come back to it. We'll have a manual. Oh, could we have an automatic? Yeah, it's too sporty for that. Try a 3-speed, and we'll go on from here. The tyres appear too narrow. They won't be for long. 125 is my favourite tyre size by the looks of things. And can we can make 12 inches. They look a bit tiny, to be entirely honest. Just try and adjust these correctly. Come on. There we go. That's about as best as I can do it. And can we, again, use our legendary automation wheels? Bring them out. Like so. Hard long life. This is maybe not the worst thing in the world. I can say that. And we can go with slightly better drum brakes, but do we need to? Probably not. I don't see the point in bothering. It's not going to go that fast. Go with no under tray. Leave cooling as it is for the time being. Oh dear, we can only have 2 seats, really? I was building this as an economy car as well. Right. I'll have to try something, although it'll probably backfire horribly in my face. I might have to just change the body. Oh dear. It's going to remove all the fixtures. Oh dear. I mean, what can I say about it? It is unitary. That's a positive. Just have to design that though. Right, this is all I'm getting for now. No, I don't want them. They're too modern. They're like Focus RS vents. And chrome. Yay! Smiley! I don't know. So, here is our car. It's got 3.2 horsepower. And an engine that doesn't work properly. And only starts on a good day. We can have 4 seats on this. It's not the full 5 seats, but it's better. And it should be cheap to manufacture at the very least. Power steering, do we want that? I don't know. Probably. But we're cheap, as I said. Still got the same suspension and everything. Front engine rear drive driveline. I want it to be a front wheel drive now though. I've taken all the low slung sporting potential away from it. We're going to be an early innovator like Citroën and make it front longitudinal front wheel drive. So I think we have to go way back here. There we go. And the engine is too big. How small does an engine have to be? Well, that's off the cards. But we are getting a 1000cc engine. If it's not going in the front, it's going in the back. I just want to do something with the driveline. Interesting. McPherson strut front and rear. Cheapening suspensions since 1950 whatever. 55 is it? And this is going to be, once it's built up and tuned properly, this is going to be the next car. And again, we see the engine's too big, but why? It can't be that huge, really. It's a 1 litre engine. Okay, so looks like we can still get a decent amount of size out, scale out of this. There we go. 1007. So we can get our 1000cc engine. We just have to do it in a slightly different way by raising a stroke up. But yeah, a rear engined vehicle is going to work for us. And that's all I've got really. Longitudinal, sticking out the back of the car like so. And move on. We've got the basics. We'll go with standard suspension. I don't think we need the fancy progressive springs. Comfort for now, but it'll probably go back to normal like the other car. And indeed, it's lighter than the last vehicle by a decent margin. I would say, is that 50, 60, 70, 80 kilos? That is not bad, you know. And it's rear drive still, so you can still have some fun with it. And it'll probably be a little more powerful as well, due to the engine being larger. And it's a convertible, so I can't complain of this. For a people's car, I think it does a decent job. And we've got, what, 27.9 miles per hour. That's good for what essentially has a lawnmower power output at the moment. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here for now. I'll get more onto the business side of this replacement car next time. But until then, goodbye until another day.